Welcome back to the next slot. It was very interesting to hear and know, the various techniques to video production. And since morning, we have seen the etiquettes, the social etiquettes to produce video. Then we have seen the choice of content, and following that, the techniques. So before we move on to the next slot, just a very quick question. Um, if students were to produce their video, they have to edit. What would be the video application softwares, perhaps that the panelists can suggest or recommend, which is preferably free or easy to use to help the students? Okay. To you, panelists.
If editing, there are some good quality softwares for computers, such as Resolve, DaVinci Resolve. Nowadays, where we can edit, we can do the sound, even color grade, and make visual effects by using just one software, rather than you have to plug in other software to accommodate your editing. But for handphones, I mean, for very cheap software, when you buy computers or even handphones, there are built-in editing softwares inside, such as Movie Makers, I think for Microsoft, and iMovie for Macintosh.
Mm.
And I think I'm not sure about the handphone, the name yang diorang gunakan, but there are very, I mean, quite a lot of free downloadable apps or softwares in the market. So you can just use any type, as
Mm.
long as the main thing is your machine must be strong enough,
Mhm.
because sometimes you buy a cheap cheap again, cheap machine, which is meant for text documents, PowerPoints. So it's not meant for editing. Editing, you will need a stronger RAM to
Mm.
process the thing. Otherwise, the video will be staggered.
Mm.
That will be a thing. And then some softwares, they have to render whatever material you have to suit to the editing punya needs. That's also a bit difficult. To me, the cheap one now, the good cheap one is not that cheap lah. For this amateur use, you can just get DaVinci Resolve. You can even download it from the internet. It's free.
What is it again? Vinci,
DaVinci,
Da Vinci. Okay.
DaVinci Resolve.
Resolve. Okay.
Yes. This is
So
version 17, I think. Now. Yeah.
does the use of software actually affect the product outcome of the video, or it's
The
actually based on the skills?
for our level, you can use any kind,
Mm.
unless you are doing for movies. For I mean, for the cinema or broadcast, then you need to get a proper one.
Okay.
Should be strong enough to withstand the motion picture.
Okay.
That's
I have found some free editing software that can suitable with Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Mm-hmm.
The famous one is Filmora. Okay, for the like Chizo said before, the professional software is for cinema and for broadcast. Adobe Premiere Pro, uh, uh, people always say Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, FCP. But Final Cut Pro is a Macintosh base.
Mm.
Okay, but for Windows Premiere for the professional, okay, more user friendly. The Premiere Pro is more user friendly, and then the learning resource and is quite easy because there's a community using the Adobe Premiere. Okay, for the free one, I found that Filmora, the famous one is Filmora.
Mm.
Filmora. Okay, the problem is Filmora. when you use the trial, there's a watermark. There's a
Oh,
watermark on it. So there's a little bit problem. But when if you buy, you can the watermark, you can remove the watermark. Okay. So the easiest software, easiest software is Sony Vegas,
mm,
uh, uh, and then Blender, Lightworks, Shortcut, and then DaVinci. DaVinci also free. I think DaVinci also
Yeah, yeah,
free.
free.
Free. Okay. OpenShot, Avid, AvidMax, Hit Film Express, and InVideo. But now on the phone, very popular right now is InVideo and Filmora. There's a two software that they can use on phone, but not much you can do when you use a phone. If you want to edit in a proper way on editing, you can use the professional one.
But
But
just sorry, just to add to when you make a movie, it's basically cut and dissolve. Those are the two things you need. You don't have to have too much visual effects and all. So if you want to do a short movie, even a documentary, you can just use anything. In fact, if you remember the movie Brokeback Mountain, it was edited in iMovie. So they didn't use Final Cut or whatever expensive kind of software. It was just the built-in iMovie editing in Macintosh. So it shouldn't be apa? Like they say, which camera is good. It's
mm,
not the camera; it's how you shoot.
okay.
Uh,
All right. On
okay.
that note, yes, okay, with a few suggestions of the video software, I hope this would be beneficial enough for all of you students. So, moving on, the next slot is about the phases in a video production. And we are so grateful today that, high quality video cameras along with excellent microphones are now built in headphones. But having just good tools are not enough if we don't really understand enough the video production process from the concept until the completion. So with this, we bring you the slot called phases in video production, and therefore let's hear from all our great panelists. To the panelists.
So I will share my. I hope I can share this. Okay. Okay. Basically, in film production, there are three phases: pre-pro, production, and post. Nowadays, some people put it 5 phases. Uh, Idea development, one; pre-production, production, post-production, and then on the fifth is marketing. But we are sticking to the three: pre-pro, production, and post. Okay, basically what happens in pre-production is where you start developing your idea. You get the idea from somewhere, as we discussed today, this morning, and then you start developing the idea, and then start writing the script. At the same time, after your script is ready, you start selecting your actors, actress, or if you're doing documentary, you start selecting your subjects, who are the person to interview, um, where is the location and all that. And then the next one is once the script is ready, you do a script breakdown where you have to break the shots from the script. You break the shots, you break the location, you break the actors, the wardrobe, and the props, and all elements that we need for a shoot. And then once you have sorted out all this breakdown, we do the schedule, the shooting schedule for for the production. And at the same time, we also prepare the budget. So that happens in pre-pro. And mind you, 60 to 70% of the work is actually in pre-production, because you must make sure that everything is correct, ready, and ready to shoot. Then you shoot. If you want to do the preparation when you are shooting, you're gonna die, especially the script. Because if you change the script in the middle of the shoot, at the end of it, your story will go haywire. And then in the pre-production also, we have the storyboard part. Storyboard is like, it must be as good. It's like be as good as a comic. When we browse through a comic, we can follow the story. So if your storyboard is as good as that, then you are good for a shoot. If you can't visualize the story from the storyboard, don't shoot, because most of your money will be gone when you are doing your principal photography, the production part, because production part is where most of the money will go. So preparation, not much. Of course, you have to book, you buy things to prepare for the shoot and all that. But the main bulk of the money will go to the principal photography. Okay, so once you have prepared the pre-production, and then we go for the production, which is the principal photography. This is where everything that you have prepared, all the schedule and all that, this is where you implement the thing, which supposed to be like 20 to 30% of the work. And after the shoot, we go to the post-production where we do the editing, we do the mixing, the marketing, and then the tayangan lah, the show. Okay, and in real term, it's supposed to be the post-production supposed to be 10% only, not what were happening now in some places where 90% of the work is being done in post. That is wrong. So whatever you do, you must be prepared in pre-pro. Okay, I will go, well, not very fast, but I have to reselect because this is my, I call it common slides for everything.
For post-production,
Yes.
sorry, Mr. Zul,
Okay.
to all the students, for post-production actually is not a process of repair whatever happened in the production. It's not the process of, okay, we can fix on the editing. No. It's not a stage of fixing. No. It's a process of complete your video. It's not fixing the video you have made. Some of the client in this industry, sometimes client or producer something, sometimes they will say, it's okay, we can fix on editing. No, not everything we can fix on the editing in the post-production process. So be careful. Pre-production is very important to plan everything what you want to shoot. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Zul.
Okay, thank you.
Cik Zul, can I add
Yes.
something for
Yep.
the production? So
Yeah.
what you emphasize just now is in a conventional professional setting.
Yes.
So for our candidates, for the people who wants to join Poly's Institute, your pre-production is also include registering. You must register, you must plan because you are shooting all by yourself. So you must also plan your resources, how much money you have, who are the people that are going to act in your, if you live alone, you might want to come up with a subject that is not human, or these are your pre-production. And then how much access do you have to shoot outside, or where you are staying, is it PKPD or whatever, or if there's a flood or something. So all this you must take into consideration for your pre-production for this competition. Okay.
There's another thing. for instance, if you go and recce a place, so for instance, you want to use this playground for a shoot, okay? You recce the place on Sunday, which is a holiday. So you look at the place, wow, very nice, very quiet. Monday shoot, there's a construction next to the playground. So all your plan will be go haywire. So those are the things yang juga you have to consider because for instance, you want to do a period of 1500 punya movie and your location is next to the airport. So how are you going to avoid that sound of aeroplane coming in and out? Okay, so all those things you have to plan during the pre-pro. Okay, this is one of the example of script from I think this one from Godfather. Okay, so when you want to do a breakdown, so you must look at the script if you have a script like this. So you must do the breakdown for every actors or actress, and then what are the kind of wardrobe they wear. For instance, here Connie Corleone, the bride, is pressing the bodies of her overly fluffy white gown against the groom. So you must take a note that what is she's wearing, supposed to be wearing. Okay, white gown. And then with her curly blondish hair. So the makeup artist must make sure her hair is blondish, make it curly a bit. So all these details, you have to do the breakdown. And then once you have finished the breakdown, then you have the schedule. For instance, this one. Okay, so this is the schedule for the film for Orlando. There you put the location, interior, great house hall, who are the cast involved with the shoot, who are the extras, and this is the period of time, and these are the props you must make ready for the shoot. So meaning that all these things will happen during the pre-pro, so that when you go to your shoot, everything is ready to roll. Because like I said, if you're not ready, you'll be wasting your time and money. So you have to pay the actors and all that for coming. But the shoot is cancelled, but you still have to pay. Okay. These are the types of schedule used last time. I don't know whether they still use it using the color code. This is the HN recorder for sound. Okay. Which is we can call it semi-professional, and some of it, I think now is HN8 with 8 output and input. So if you have the luxury of having this thing, by all means use it. But if you only have your handphones nowadays are quite good to record sound actually. But just note to remember that if your recordings, for instance, in the house, the sound is not good when you record. So you have to redub the thing in the post. So what you should do is when you shoot something in, say, in the lounge, shoot a scene in the lounge with 20 people, so the crew and all that. After the shoot, you shoot the ambient sound of the place with everybody in the lounge. Because the sound of an empty room, the ambient sound of an empty room, and the ambient sound of room full of people, even they stay quiet, will be different. So what you should do is you record about 5 minutes of silence in the room, in the lounge with everybody there, which when you have to dub in the future, you can use the ambient sound to be the background of your dubbing. Because when you go and dub the sound, it will be very quiet. there's not even humming of aircon or fan and all that. Even people breathing, that is, if 20 people breathing, there is a certain level of sound in there. So you don't want to have a dubbing, say a dialogue by this guy, and then suddenly in the middle, a few sentences in the middle, you have to dub the thing. Suddenly the ambient is too quiet. So what you have recorded earlier, the silence of the location, and then you can edit with the sound of the those in the post.
As a background noise.
Yes, as a background noise. Yes. Otherwise,
Filmmaking,
yes.
creating a video actually. Sorry, Mr. Rizal. For you guys, for students, especially polytechnic students, creating a videos actually is very technical. It's a very technical thing. Okay. In creative part is another thing. In technical thing is another thing. That's why to create a video, for example, for filmmaking, there's a lot of department we have to create to make sure the whole production run smooth. But as a content creator nowadays, now this era is about one man show. So when you using your own skill, you have to know a lot of things. Technical part is another thing that support your creative work. Creative work without the technical parts is must come together, and you must know. If okay, for example, when you watch a video at YouTube, every content creator in their channel actually their work they are by their own. If the channel have a lot of subscribers, maybe 1 million and above, they actually have a team. They have their own team. Maybe certain channel their work by their own. For example, the YouTuber named Mark Wen. He's doing a food review. But how he shoot, how he present the content is very creative and same level as a, TV station standard, same as TV standard station standard, and he worked alone. He has been supporting by his wife. Okay, when he doing the stand upper, sometimes he's doing by using selfie style, or sometimes his wife will hold the camera and shoot for him. That's why I said in production, in film production or video production, when you create something, at least if you can do alone, you already have a lot of knowledge to make a video. If not, please ask your friend to help you, or your brother or sister to help you while you're doing your videos. Don't do alone. If not, you will do a lot of mistake. It's good to learn from mistake. It's a good thing to learn from mistake, but try to reduce the mistakes.
Okay, meaning that everything must be done as a team. You cannot do it alone. Of course, if you want to shoot a tiger in the jungle, you might have to do it alone. Because usually wild animals, they can sense human from afar. So if you come with 20 guys just to shoot wildlife, you cannot put a date. Okay, we go this Sunday, we're going to shoot harimau. Okay, it won't happen because harimau can smell you 5 kilometer away. You punya deodorant ke whatever, you must smell like a hutan, then the harimau will come out. Okay, So back to our thing just now. So remember when we do the shooting, we need to be well prepared, okay, and use whatever means we have. So if you only have one handphone, just use the handphone, no problem. Because for our level, in fact, because nowadays people are not watching it in the cinema. Cinema, we need a very big, high resolution camera. But nowadays, the handphone are quite capable of producing uh, for laptop screen punya resolution. Not to worry. So you can use whatever means you have. It's just you must understand. Okay, for instance, if you are doing shooting, okay, we have the just now Encik Izzat talk about the rule of third, okay, and then we have also this 180-degree rule, where we must make sure that the the actors or the sub stays on one side of the line and the camera on one side of the line. Because if the camera crosses the line, the audience will get confused. That's another big thing in filmmaking, the 180-degree rule.
For specifically for this competition,
Yes.
what realistically what FASA they have to go through if they are limited to shooting at home,
Yep.
with very little resources, and then of course with non-professional actors. So what do you think those who want to enter this competition? I think the first thing is I opinion saya Cik Zul, dia kena pertama sekali dia kena cari konsep kan apa yang dia nak.
Yes.
Then shooting tu I rasa diorang kena tengok apa yang diorang ada. Diorang kena improvise dengan macam Cik Izzat tadi kata, kalau kreatif nak dolly in dolly out guna kerusi yang beroda tu boleh kan Cik Izzat kan? Ataupun ikat kamera tu dekat skateboard pun boleh. So what do you think Cik Zul?
I think okay. For the competition wise, the first thing is find your topic.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the content of your story first? Okay. Then you develop the idea, and then you start thinking of where to shoot and when to shoot, and who are the actors. Kalau you buat documentary, what are the topics? What kind of research, and what is the main focus to be in your video? And then once you have decided that, you go for the shoot, and once you have the raw material, you come back and edit.
That's the post-production. And don't get frustrated. Jangan cakap, alah kau cakap senang lah, kau boleh shoot masa tak PKPD. So don't let that limitation and that frustration disturb your creativity. Betul kan Cik Dizul kan?
Yes.
Don't just focus on the limit, tak boleh ni, tak boleh tu. No. Use that as a strength to maybe that limitation is a blessing kan Cik Dizul kan?
For example, I've watched videos, dia guna background, let's say for example like they just only use still pictures as the background. So they don't have to go out. They can use still picture, like say for example the forest or anything. Just only to show that they are actually somewhere around the area which is in a forest or something. So I think such thing also can be used also, right?
I remember telling my students during PKP to do an assignment for my direction class, the journey of a plastic bag. And they come up with wonderful ideas. The main talent is the plastic bag. So you can be creative and you can use anything as long as it convey. You can even treat a plastic bag like a human by putting voice over, you know, by making it alive. And you can even send a lot of message of recycle, and then they come up with fantastic ideas. You just give them the idea and not the limitation. Forget about the limitation and forget about the frustration. Now is the time to create and to be creative.
In fact, there are some festivals, they call it 48 hours, even 8 hours festivals, where today they give you a piece of paper, it's written there, bicycle. So you have to you have to create a story In the next 2 days, show to the audience a story about bicycles. So what you can do is you just pick something like that and start creating.
If you don't have physically, you don't have a bicycle at home, you must think out of the box. It can be a drawing of a bicycle. It can be a bicycle pump. It can be something that you incorporate in your dialogue. Quote, dia ada nightmare kan, dan dia sebut the bicycle is eating me, the bicycle. So as long as it has bicycle, you fulfill the criteria. So that's what Doktor cakap awal tadi. You must think out of the box.
May I ask, what
Yes.
about the green screen concept, especially during PKP? Would that be good for students to utilize?
Yes, actually you are using that concept now. Actually it can be done nowadays. In fact, dia actually bukan green saja. It's green, red and blue, and white and black.
And what's the difference?
Dia depends on, okay, kalau your story that day, for film dulu dia pakai blue because blue is dia punya kontras dengan kulit. So they use blue. But nowadays with the computers, it's easier to do that, and you have the three primary colors: RGB, red, green, and blue, and then the white and the black. So if you want to use green, one of the pelakon to wear green, and you use blue as your background.
Do they
That's
still
also
call it,
animated.
they
Yes.
call it chroma key, Dizul?
Yes, chroma key.
Because during my time in the 80s, they call it chroma keys. So do they still use this term?
I think Cik Izzat is more lebih faham on this thing yang the new one.
It's the same thing. Chroma key and green screen. Chroma key is the concept of shoot to put visual on it. The color, the color of the screen. That's why we pronounce as green or blue or red. But we have to understand how we use the green, blue, and red. Okay, so because the primary color is red, green, blue lah. But nowadays we can use any color.
Yes.
Any color nowadays, any color you can do. Even you not use whole green screen, even not use whole green, you can cut all this white wall and put on green also can. But there's a lot of work. For using, okay, back to the moderators, Mr. Khalid said, why not we using a still photo at the background? Yes, we can use, but based on what concept you trying to do, what product you want to do. If you doing a short film by using all the green screen, it's quite a problem. It's quite a problem because it's for amateurs using. Wow, I try to plan to use to make a short film using fully chroma key, and that's the first video he do. So there will do a very, it's not amateur, it's below than amateur video because it's first time using the chroma key and trying to be professional, trying to be and to be is a different thing. So that's why they have to know when they want to use the chroma key thing. Okay, if you want to do the chroma key, actually you need even lighting. Okay, you need a proper lighting. If not, you will see when your subject very near to the chroma key and your lighting is beside the camera and totally frontal to the subject, your shadow will be dropped on the background like this. This is a shadow, right? My hand shadow. So when you put picture on it, so when you render, so the shadow will be on the background. So there's a lot of things to consider while you're using the chroma key. So the chroma key, when you want to, what color you want to use, it depends. When you use a background of green, don't wear your actors your talent with the same color with the background. So even the product also, when you shoot a product, you're using a background of chroma key, green. There's a product on your product, the color green. There will be transparent when you render all the videos. Background and subject must be different color. Really different color. If not dia ni. Tapi ada je sekarang yang orang buat dia boleh touch up balik. Cuma banyak kerja lah. Banyak kerja. So the After Effects is another software. After Effects. Nowadays YouTubers also using After Effects. After Effects is a really advanced effects or CGI you can use for supporting your video. But how difficult using it, you have to know editing software first.
For those of you who have drones, that expensive toy, you have, don't overuse it. I notice kan young people, if they have drone, semua shot drone kan.
Okay, sekarang
So,
kalau nak
Okay.
sekarang kalau nak terbangkan drone memang dah payah dah. The pilot tu sendiri perlukan ada license yang tertentu dan tempat-tempat tu pula tak boleh. Sekarang memang tak boleh. Senang cerita tak boleh lah, senang cerita. Dan dengan PKP-nya apa semua PKD. Okey, lagi satu mengenai green screen tadi, saya rasa untuk yang ini untuk student. Jadi untuk green screen tu adalah satu benda yang susah bagi mereka sebenarnya sebab lighting semua nak kena jaga. Senang cerita kalau boleh dielakkan, habis cerita. Kalau boleh. Sebabnya kalau nak cuba buat boleh, tapi nanti problem, let's say lah dah buat-buat kemudian green screen tu tak menjadi. Dan lagi satu, semalam baru dapat info daripada kementerian mengatakan kalau nak pergi syuting sekarang hanya mereka yang ada 2 jab dah full barulah boleh. Jadi dalam keadaan sekarang ni kalau dapat buat kat rumah pun dah kira alhamdulillah lah. Gunakan subjek apa yang ada di rumah tu saja dah mencukupi. Jadikan satu konten yang menarik.
Kalau contoh macam diorang gunakan katakan macam Lego adik dia ke whatever ke jadi karakter dia whatever.
Boleh. Boleh tak? Tak ada masalah sebab itu kreativiti. Yang itu boleh dikatakan itu dinamakan animatic. Stop motion. Stop motion tu dah satu hal yang betul-betul yang nak kena betul-betul precise dia punya movement apa semua baru dia cantik. Tapi kalau dapat buat memang cantik, sangat cantik sebenarnya. Itu salah satu kaedah yang bagus.
Stop motion film Star Wars. Kalau you remember scene yang dia naik macam kuda kat snow tu, it took them 2 years to do that. Just that thing cross the thing. So stop motion for this one jangan buat. Okay, untuk polis CCTV ni jangan buat berkait. Dia very tedious because dia punya scale tu magnitude millimeter to millimeter. Like Cik Gulan cakap, enjoy your work. Enjoy your shoot. Do your trial and error.
Think out of the box. If you have only a cat at home, you do a story about a talking cat, a cat who can speak. Then you put VO ke apa ke kan. So it's all about your creativity. Macam Cik Azizan cakap pun saya setuju. Student saya banyak menggunakan Lego, sikat jadi mikrofon, and then stop motion yang simple tu. I think boleh. You can. If it's a dream sequence, anything is possible. If you do a character is dreaming, so you can even do a double image of yourself, an alter ego. You can shoot yourself and then re-edit it, and then you can even have a twin brother punya story if you are at home. So anything is possible if you are creative.
Okay, I think lastly, last lah for the when kita ada pre-pro, production and post. The thing, I don't know who wrote this thing, but he said a good well-told story can withstand technical flaws from top to bottom.
Yes.
A bad, poorly told story, how technically well edited, will always be weak. An editor must think story first, technique second. So whoever in your department, think of the story first.
Dan lagi satu, pastikan tema tu menepati. Dalam kes ni untuk polis CCTV, tell about us. Yes, itulah dia.
Dan jangan
yang itu-
pakai banyak sangat lagu-lagu. Saya tahu budak sekarang memang suka masuk lagu tu, aku geram betul.
Ya.
Astaghfirullahaladzim.
Okay, Cik
Kurangkan
Zizok,
yang itu.
tambah sikit apa yang you cakap from Cik Dolah. Encik Abdullah is one of the lecturer from Aswara. He always say a good story, when you write a good story, dia tak kisah you use a fountain pen or a pencil. It's not the pen or the pencil that determine your story. That means it's your story that is the most important thing.
Story is king.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
thank you.
totally agree. Can I just say something?
Yes.
Just a fun fact. Have all of you watched Raya the Last Dragon, the recent production by Walt Disney?
Yeah.
It is completely made at home.
Oh.
Completely from beginning till the end, where even the authors dub their own voices in their own houses, their own. So I think all this resonate with all the wise words from our panelists today, with what you say about the story coming first. It's what you're willing to go, to think beyond and outside of the box, your heart to do it. I think, all this should bear a good reminder to all our students, especially those who are, who have fire in their hearts to really want to join and produce videos. Okay, so yeah, back to the other moderators.
All right, so are we done?
Okay.
Okay, so thanks so much to our panelists, Mr. Gulam Shafi, Mr. Zulkarnain, Mr. Izzat, and Mr. Azizan, for the wonderful discussion on the faces and video production, as well as the other topics just now. So all in all, we may conclude that video production involves a lot of time, effort, and finesse from the 3 stages: pre-production to production, as well as post-production. And to recap back, we have already discussed on the social etiquette in producing videos, choosing video content, and techniques in producing quality video. And although it is done in quite a limited time, I hope that these 4 topics are very essential, and hopefully our participants could benefit from the discussion in producing their video. So as what they have reminded us, just be creative and think out of the box and start producing your video. Okay, thank you all the panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
See all of you again on the 27th,
Yes.
InsyaAllah.
which is
See ya.
tomorrow.
InsyaAllah.
Stay safe. Goodbye.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe.
Okay,
Okay.
you too.
Sama-sama.